bastard. Come here.
Hi, Pen. We're just here for the museum. Oh, okay, well, not in the best shape, but you're welcome to just go on through and enjoy the exhibits. Just stay out of the side rooms, and I'd stay out of the gallery too. Kind of in a bit of a... need some fumigating. Best you don't see. The tour, holy... Okay, yeah. Just you guys, just... Only... no one's coming. Okay, well, do we want to give them maybe... five minutes? Half a minute? Give them half a minute to get here. I'd hate to miss... wouldn't want to miss this one.
Okay, everyone, you've signed what you need to sign. Got your nice little wristbands. Wonderful. Okay, so before we get going, let's play with our imaginations for a second. Alright, you ready? You're dead. Yep, right this second, you died. Now put yourself in the shoes of the person who's coming to settle up your physical affairs. Right, potentially a stranger walking through your home. What is that person gonna see? I could make a bet they could deduce a relatively close idea of what kind of life you had. Just by walking through your home, seeing how you decorated the joint. You know, how good's your furniture, how grubby's your carpet. And that Pulp Fiction poster that we all got in high school, you know, the one with Uma Thurman, that you've got hanging up on the wall that you think seems to really tie the room together. That includes the mess you're leaving behind. What about all those dishes you left in the sink? There seem to be growing a bloom of mold. You know, the food is growing back in the bowl. Got a bit of a magic pudding situation going on here. And this stalagmite of crusty laundry in the corner here. You know, probably the cleanest thing in your house is your browsing history. Thanks to incognito mode and those VPNs you've been abusing. Poor things. I am kidding, mostly. You could actually just be me when I was 16. But look around your space right now. Is there anything that is you, has pictures of you, your essence, got your stank on it? You know, things you've made, happy snaps, you know, memories of you, of your friends. That hole you punched in the drywall because mum took the power cord to your Xbox. Anything. That's the gold. That's what we're looking for.
Yep, that's actually the coolest shit ever. So let's take that premise a little bit further. Let's say it's been 6 months since you've died, right? What's changed? What's decayed? Now, let's say that, and then a year. Then 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Right? After time's taken all that it can from your physical memories, everything else that's lingered on, what remains? What's left behind, right? Eh? What's this person who was settling up your affairs going to see? Although I imagine they've been a bit late. What are they going to see? What kind of picture of you are they going to put together from all the crap you've left behind? What is your ghost going to look like to that person? You want to see a dead body? Come on, let's go. That's why we're here. That's what you're paying for.
When it comes to environmental storytelling and exploring the remains of humanity, Fallout, it seems, is more interested in what comes next, rather than studying what came before. This isn't a general rule, but it makes up the majority of what we see and interact with in the setting. How does humanity adapt to this new world? How different are these new societies that are erected from the ashes of the biggest murder-suicide in history? How much changes? How much stays the same? These are questions that get asked over and over again throughout the Fallout series. Interplay, Bethesda, Obsidian. This examination has persisted over 20 years and through 3 different studios. This topic has shown its ability to capture people's imagination, and more importantly, the market's attention. You could probably list at least 3 other properties that ask these same questions that came out in the last 6 months. But today, we're more interested in the exception. Not what comes next, but what's still here.
I reckon we're actually a bit like archaeologists, walking through history, putting scenes back together, making stories, actual, real stories. Just without a lot of the things that go into being an archaeologist. Like we shouldn't think about, the differences, but we are excited / enthusiastic about inconsequential, background, diegetic video game lore. I don't think we've moved an inch with this traffic. I know 4, 3, and on a bit of a shtick when it comes to environmental storytelling. Find a room up to the side, fill it with skeletons, and write a note. Scribble a note to go along with it. And make sure it's very easy to find that note, because you don't want people to come up with their own ideas of what happened here. And when you are writing that note, make it really tragic, or a little bit funny. So tragic it is funny. I'm running away with my pregnant lover. We've got lots of new opportunities where we're going. I can't wait. We're gonna have a big family, 6 fucking kids, and a golden retriever and a white picket fence. What are these sirens I'm hearing? You read that note. You've seen them skeletons. You've seen them in the metro. You've seen them in some clapped out apartment in the middle of the city. You've seen them in a shed behind a Red Rocket servo. And before we go to the main attractions, I want to show you my personal favorite skeletons. I haven't shown anyone else these skeletons, so you're lucky. Let's go. How do I make it go? Alright gang, nearly there, just be careful, come on. Hey, don't pussy out now. These are gonna be the best skeletons you'll see all day, I promise. Alright, sweet, now come on one at a time. You signed that waiver, right? Great. Alright, no sweat. Come on over, champions. One at a time. I love this. I absolutely love this. Look, there's a reason they're my personal favorite skeletons, right? I believe it was Antoine de Saint-Exupéry that said, "Perfection is achieved when there's nothing left to remove. What's left behind must then be perfect," right? Now, if you look around, there's not going to be any notes, no holotapes. You're welcome to try. I don't think you'll find any. What is here? Just a couple embracing on the hood of this fusion-powered shitbox, listening to the emergency broadcast on the radio as they're flash fried by nuclear fire. Yep. Or, after surviving the bombs, weak from radiation poisoning, they must have shuffled into their car, driven through the ashes of their whole world up to this overlook, then got onto the hood of the car, spending their last agonizing hours in each other's arms, looking on at the ruins and sunset of their lives. I don't even know which version of the story it probably is. I don't even think it's either of those, really. But Bethesda's let me use my own imagination, if you can believe that. This scene has stuck with me for the last 15 years. It's one of my favorite examples of what's left behind, right? This scene has been untouched for 200 or so years, and we're the first ones to stumble across it, right? There's so little explicit direction from the developer about what happened here. But the story that we've postulated is way more vibrant than anything the developer could tell us, explicitly. Anyway, sit tight. I'm gonna take some stills for the thumbnail. Brochure. Yeah, just go sit tight with the cow. Just in this drainage chamber are my second favorite skeletons. Yeah, see, we found this place thanks to a snapshot from history. That radio tower that we just saw, that's still transmitting. Yeah, 200 years after the fact. You know, who'd have thought that maybe the byproducts of investing in atomic weaponry and energy, it seems to have really paid off for them, hasn't it? Anyway, that tower's still transmitting. It's transmitting a looped message. We can still tune into today. Let's give it a listen.
If anyone can hear this, this is Bob Anderstein. My family and I have taken refuge in a drainage chamber not too far from a radio relay tower outside of DC. My boy is very sick, needs medical assistance. Please help if you can. We're listening for your response on 3950 kilohertz.
Cool. Thanks, Bob. Hey, now watch your step down here, gang. The tunnels can be a little bit slippery. Pepper, what's your New Balance? Alright, gang, bodies are down here. Let's go. Well, there's Bob. There's family. Well, half of it. Mum, Dad. I can't seem to find a smaller skeleton anywhere. They had all this food, water, and medicine, and they still died. They would have died anyway, but I figured they'd at least last until the supplies were gone. Only 2 skeletons, which means the kid must have died from his illness, which suggests they probably buried him out there somewhere, because we can't find the body of the little one. But we still got the 2 bodies here, with all the supplies. There's a knife. You ever wonder that we're reading between the lines Bethesda's drawn up for us, right? You know, what's implied. That's just a game theory, gang. You'll probably think up for something else. Well, that was the best kind of depressing. Not real. Dry those tear ducts. We don't have to feel bad for those skeleton chumps, because they're the exact same identical models you've seen 100 times before, and we'll see 100 times again. Now, as much as I appreciate the mystery Bethesda setup, that was a good bit of fun. We got a lot more to see, so chin up, put on a happy face. You know, I'll level with you, gang. These last 2 stops we've had, they've been, I think they're the best that this tour has to offer. The stops coming up, they're, you know, that fun little pool of ambiguity we've been splashing around in, you know? Gotcha. It's in your eyes. Gotcha. It's gone. Yeah, that's all gone now. I don't know, gang. Why don't we just stop the tour here? You guys have already seen the best that I can get. You must be tired, right? Why don't we'll go through Macca's on the way back to the museum, right? Yeah. We'll scrape through the dollar menu. It'll be good. Red Rooster. Okay, let's head in, guys. Let's go. Let's see. It's not that bad. Welcome to Vault 92. Careful where you put your feet, gang. You don't want to see your pins flying off past your ears. First attraction on this stop, this poor bastard. Yeah. Dying with his back to the wall, las gun right next to him, shotgun trap pointing back out of the room. Yeah, he must have been afraid of something. You know, something that was capable of getting him at any time, even when he was asleep. Yeah. Now, what kind of picture does that... Note? No. What kind of picture does that... No, note. What kind of picture... Fucker! No. Deduce. Don't make me do that to a holotape. Sorry about that, gang. Just didn't want you to have an incomplete experience by cheating. You know, it's a little bit like... Okay. Question, gang. Why is this shotgun trap pointing back into the vault, just like our last attraction? Oh, I already triggered this one. I think we're good. Wow. What a scene, huh? Boy, it must have been pretty ugly down here when all this kicked off. Looked like the vault dwellers were taken out pretty violently. You know, brutally dispatched in a bit of hand-to-hand slaughter. Pretty extreme. Kind of makes a fellow wonder what could make someone go so wild. What could trigger all this sudden, explosive violence? Yep. We can only really speculate on what happened here, what the people were doing, what even the purpose of Vault 92 was. Just, you know, whatever we can gather from the bric-a-brac and crap. But we do know that music played a pretty big role in whatever was going on here. You know, imagine being trapped down here for who knows how long, mastering your instruments, you know, preserving your compositions, your talent, technique, all that. It just seems like none of it was recorded, which I feel is odd for a vault that's got a pretty large focus on music. Yeah, if it was recorded, it's long gone. I haven't found it. I've been through this place a few times now. All that's left is just all the crap. The occasional note about, you know, some of the vault dwellers mashing pisses. I don't know, I feel like I've eaten all the notes by now. Stop. Stop. Drop it. Good job. Oh yeah, you should see. No, I got you. You were like... I did. Anyway, what a mystery. What happened here? You know, all the bodies and the traps pointing back into the vault. Frick and a half. Well, it's up to us to put it all together, you know, what happened to the people here, their lives, and all the tragedy. How could we, you know, put this all together such that we could say for certain what happened, you know? How could we really know for sure?
So far, the experiment experiment is going exactly as planned. We're subjecting the residents to extremely low frequency white noise, regular intervals of the loudspeakers to 0717.
Claims came from
He's murdered 3 other residents in a fit of unbridled rage, the likes of
no
which I've never
observations,
seen.
no control. The situation is getting out of hand.
I'm going to have to confront the population.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Let's try something a bit different here at Vault. Vault 106. Door's not flush. Remember to take your antipsychotics for this one, fellas. It's the dealer's choice. You sign the waiver. Not really sure about this one, fellas. I don't remember it being the best example of what we're looking for. It's been a while since I've been back. I don't remember why that... Okay. Expiration. Yeah. Say that again. Yeah. Hey, don't run off too far ahead. We'll run out of... Ooh. 1 second. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, gang, we're gonna have to keep our voices down a bit. We don't want to spook the figment of our collective hallucination, of our collective imagination. This is the perfect illustration about capturing what's left behind, right? We've got the consequences of time and whatever Clockwork Orange experimental happened here, juxtaposed against the man who left it behind, right? Well, presumably before all... This is that ghost I was talking about. Remember at the beginning, what's your ghost gonna look like? This is it. You know, the image of the people that we've conjured up in our heads from what they've left behind for us to conjure it from, right? You know, right in front of us. That's all that's left of this man. There's no grave, no epitaph. This broken window into his life, that's his obituary. Right, all we can really do is pick up the shards of broken glass and put it back together as best as we can, so that when we look through that window again, we can see an image, and it might not be as clear or detailed as what the actual thing was, but it's something. And I think that blurriness, that ambiguity, what we can't figure out, I think that's the exciting part. What we can fill the blanks in with. Is that a fucking tricycle? We're done. Yeah, the tour's finished. That's all there really was in there. Just that one ghost. Not much else really met our criteria. I don't really feel like walking across DC. Or just more of the same. Just more skeletons and notes. Just shoved down your throat. Just skeletons and notes and skeletons and notes. It's...
Fallout 3 was never the perfect example to explore this idea of what's left behind. We've already crossed the line of believability. I mean, these places and things we find, much of it would have rotted away, or been scavenged bare, disturbed beyond reasonable speculation 200 years after the fact. That's even after surviving nuclear Armageddon. I've sooked enough about it already, but so much of the environmental storytelling seems insufficient, needing explicit dialogue so that you get the story that Bethesda wanted to tell, and it could only ever be interpreted one way. That's not to say those stories are bad. I thought the premise for both of the vaults we visited were compelling enough, if a bit predictable. The business-as-usual terminals and notes are great. They give a pretty solid vibe of the type of person it takes to run these Vault-Tec experiments and the guinea pigs trapped inside. Even if the notes with romantic intent in Vault 92 seem to fall straight out of a Redditor's trench coat. But I can actually believe a band nerd might write like that. There's just too much. I'm not coming to a conclusion on my own, I'm being dragged there. But with a finite list of assets and time, how else are developers able to tell this place's story but with notes, holotapes, and terminals? I feel it's a case of the developers having limited opportunities and fear. Fear that the player will miss out on all the ideas and effort that went into sculpting these vaults. These are a major attraction in the series, enough to make it onto the cover. At the end of the day, it's a gamble to make places like this. They've already spent the time to make each vault unique. Will fleshing it out further be worth the time and money? How much of it are the players even going to see? And with that much scratch on the line, you've got to be sure. And in the end, with the volume of our collective memories and positive impressions, overall I think they made the right choice. And yet, where Bethesda has taken those gambles, where they've crafted a story for the player to find, bringing them into the storytelling process, letting the player create their own ghosts from what's left behind, I think those moments have been beautiful. I only wish I had time to show you more of them. Maybe another day. If you'll humour an attempt of me to be deep and not pretentious with you guys, there's a line in Samuel Johnson's plays of William Shakespeare that I think about a lot. If you'll excuse the 18th century English, it goes a bit like this. Imitations produce pain or pleasure, not because they are mistaken for realities, but because they bring realities to mind. When the imagination is recreated by a painted landscape, the trees are not supposed capable to give us shade, or the fountain's coolness, but we consider how we should be pleased with such fountains playing beside us, and such woods waving over us. We don't have a painted landscape. All we have are remains, bombed neighborhood, ruined house, collapsed metro, etc., etc. We are the painter in this example, and our imagination is recreating the image of these skeletons' last intimate moments. How these people coped with the end of the world. It's only imitation, just imagination. But regardless, it's vibrantly melancholic and hits harder than any mess of skeletons has any right to. All the way back in 2009, I was 14, and I'd just returned home with a copy of Fallout 3, costing me 75 of my hard-earned Australian dollar dues. I ran home, installed it on my shitty laptop. After struggling through games for Windows Live, I got it going. I then skidded out of Mum's legs, made a character, and left the vault. Then I just wandered around the wasteland for a couple of hours, not achieving much. Then I ditched. It wasn't VATS or the story, as much as I knew of it at the time. I think it was just how much of Fallout 3 there was, and that paralyzed me. I couldn't handle it, so I left. After a few months, I came back, after finishing Freelancer for the 8th time again, and Fallout clicked. And by the time I was finally done, I reckon I'd seen every square foot and resident of the capital wasteland. I'd bounce from spot to spot, excited with what I'd see at the next joint, and seeing what was left behind for myself. I don't know if I'll ever recapture that kind of fascination ever again. It was a particular time in my life, and I think that kind of magic, it's gone from it for now.
Fallout 3 is already something special, but
It was so close to being something more. I have to wonder if the development team had a little more time. What would they add? What would they refine? Would it even matter for losers like us?
I really think our
Good friend Leonardo said it best.
art's never finished, only abandoned. Well, that's the tour, gang. I hope you had fun. Thanks for poking about in the ashes with me. It's always better with company. And don't be a stranger, we got more tours coming up. I've just got to suss out where and what they're going to be. Maybe you can help me figure that out. Oh, you're off? Well, have fun. Enjoy the rest of your trip. And if I could get 5 stars in Google reviews, that'd be much appreciated. All right, hooroo. So long.